ever tried meditation, only to find your mind racing relentlessly? No matter what you did, thoughts kept crashing in like furious waves. If so, you need to know something that will completely change how you see this situation. There's a practice spiritual teachers have used for centuries. Technique so simple, you can do it in 3 minutes, yet so powerful, it can pull you from the deepest mental chaos. Problem is, this practice was lost, hidden, and what remains is a distorted shadow of its true form. I know exactly how you feel right now. You've tried those guided meditations on popular apps, tried sitting in silence, observing your breath, but the thoughts always return, louder than before. And think, I can't meditate. Mind is too restless. What if I told you you've been doing it wrong from the start? What if the problem wasn't your inability to stop the thoughts? What if the problem was trying to stop them? Because there's something that completely changed my life. Something I discovered accidentally while studying ancient texts few people know. You know why modern meditation fails for most people? Because it teaches you to fight your own mind. It's like trying to stop a river with your bare hands. Ancient teachers knew something different. They knew the mind isn't meant to be controlled. It's meant to be understood. Imagine for a moment, you're in a noisy room. Everyone shouting, loud music, cars honking outside. Most people would try to cover their ears or leave. But what if there was a third option? A way to be in that noisy room and still find complete peace? That's the essence of the lost practice I'll show you today. Next few minutes, you'll discover not only what this technique is, but why it works when everything else fails, and how to apply it to your life today. First, I need to tell you a story that will change how you see silence forever. Once upon a time, there was a young man desperate for peace. He meditated 8 hours a day, followed all the rules, did every breathing exercise his mentor taught, but his mind wouldn't calm down. On the contrary, it seemed to be getting even more agitated. One day, he went to his mentor and said, "Master, I can't meditate. My mind is like a raging river. Perhaps I wasn't meant for this." The mentor looked at him with a strange smile he'd never seen before. Then he said something that changed his life, but the understanding of generations about what it truly means to find son, said the mentor, are trying to calm the ocean by fighting the waves. But there is another way. What way, master? Way of becoming the ocean itself. The young man stand. How does one become the ocean? That's when the mentor taught him the technique I want to share with you today. Same technique that has been lost over the centuries, distorted, misunderstood. Till today, when someone mentions meditation, they automatically think of stopping thoughts, of emptying the mind. But the ancient teachers knew this is impossible and unnecessary. Want to know what their secret was? Want to discover what that mentor taught the young man that afternoon that changed his life forever? The technique is called becoming the observer of the storm. And in 3 minutes, it can pull you from the deepest chaos. But before I explain how it works, you need to understand why everything you've been taught about meditation until now is wrong. Let's start with a simple question. When you sit down to meditate and a thought arises, what's your first reaction? You're like most people, you try to push the thought away. You try to focus on your breath. You try to return to a state of peace. And what happens? The thought gets stronger, more present, more impossible to ignore. It's like someone telling you, don't think of a pink elephant. What just happened in your mind? Exactly, a pink elephant appeared. This is the first big mistake almost everyone makes when trying to meditate. They turn the mind into a battlefield. Thoughts on one side, you on the other. But there's no victory in this war. You are the thoughts. You are the mind. How can you fight against yourself? Ancient teachers discovered something revolutionary. They realized that peace doesn't come from controlling thoughts. Peace comes from changing your relationship with thoughts. It's like being in a storm. You can try to stop the rain by shouting at the sky, or you can find the calm center of the storm and observe everything from there. Now, listen carefully, because this will change your life. The lost practice of the spiritual teachers doesn't try to stop anything. It doesn't try to control anything. It does the exact opposite. It teaches you to embrace the chaos, to become intimate with it, to find peace not in spite of thoughts, but through them. Sound impossible? Sound counterintuitive? Great, because the deepest truths always seem impossible at first. Let me explain how it works in a very practical way. Imagine your mind is a sky, and thoughts are clouds passing through that sky. Traditional meditation teaches you to try to remove the clouds, to push them away, to make the sky clear. But the lost practice of the spiritual teachers teaches something different. It teaches you to realize that you are not the clouds. You are the sky itself. The clouds may come and go. They may be dark or light, dense or light, but the sky remains unchanged. Always vast, always present, always at peace. And when you realize this for the first time, it's like a switch is flipped in your consciousness. Suddenly, you no longer need to fight against thoughts, because you understand that thoughts are not your enemies. They are merely temporary phenomena happening within something much larger, within you. But hold on, I don't want you to think this is just beautiful philosophy. This technique has immediate practical effects. I'll show you exactly how to apply this to your life. How to transform 3 minutes into an experience that can change your entire day. And the most impressive thing is that you can do this anywhere. In traffic, at work, before an important meeting, in the middle of an argument. Because once you learn to become the observer of the storm, you carry peace with you wherever you go. But before I teach you the practical technique, I need to show you why it works when everything else fails. There's a scientific reason behind what monks discovered 1,000 years ago. A neurological explanation that will blow your mind. Do you know what happens in your brain when you try to force your mind to be quiet? Your prefrontal cortex goes into intense control mode. It's like slamming on the gas and the brakes at the same time. The result? More tension, more stress, more anxiety. That's why so many people give up on meditation, because they leave feeling more agitated than when they started. But when you stop trying to control and simply observe, something magical happens. Your parasympathetic nervous system is activated. That part of your nervous system responsible for relaxation, digestion, healing. Your heart rate naturally slows down. Your breath deepens on its own. Your muscles relax effortlessly. Most interesting thing of all, your brain activity changes. Studies show that when you enter this state of pure observation, your brain produces alpha and theta waves. Same waves that appear in states of deep creativity and insight. It's as if you have direct access to your deepest wisdom. Here comes the part that impresses me the most, and that may be why this practice has been lost over the centuries. It's too simple. We live in a culture that believes that the more complicated, the better. The more difficult, the more valuable. That's why they've created 1,000 different types of meditation, each with its own rules, its positions, its mantras, its visualizations. Truth is that the most powerful practice is the simplest. Maybe that's exactly why it was forgotten. Because in a time when everyone wants to sell complex courses and sophisticated techniques, who's going to want to teach something that anyone can learn in 3 minutes? But I'm going to teach you because I believe you deserve access to what really works. Because I believe this practice can transform not only your life, but the lives of everyone around you. You find real peace within yourself, it spreads. Like ripples in a calm lake, your relationships improve, your work flows better, your creativity explodes, your health strengthens. Because inner peace is not just a mental state, it's a state of being that affects every cell in your body. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that there are people who seem to carry a natural calmness with them? No matter the chaos around them, no matter the pressure, they maintain a serenity that seems to come from another world. Did you always think that these people were born that way? That it's a natural gift? I can assure you it's not. All these people have learned, in one way or another, to master the art of becoming the observer of the storm. Some learned through difficult life experiences, others through years of spiritual practice, others still by accident in moments of deep crisis. But they all discovered the same secret that I'm going to reveal to you now. Good news is that you don't need to spend years studying. You don't need to face deep crises. You don't need to rely on luck or accident. You can learn this today, in the next few minutes, and start applying it immediately to your life. But before I show you the technique, a little experiment with me. For a moment, pay attention to what's happening in your mind right now. What thoughts are passing through? What sensations are you feeling in your body? What sounds are you hearing around you? Don't try to change anything. Try to control anything. Just observe, as if you were a scientist studying your own internal experience. Did you do it? Were you able to perceive that subtle difference between being lost in thoughts and observing thoughts? If you did, you've just taken the first step towards the lost practice of the monks. If you didn't, don't worry. It's normal in the beginning. We'll practice together until you get the hang of it. Because this is the basis of everything. This ability to become the observer of your own experience. It's like climbing a high mountain and looking down at the valley below. You can see everything clearly, but you're no longer trapped in the middle of the confusion. Once you learn to climb this inner mountain, your life will never be the same. The problems continue to exist. The challenges continue to appear, but your relationship with them changes completely. It's as if you found an inner refuge that nothing can touch, a place of absolute peace that is always available, no matter what is happening on the outside. And the most incredible thing is that the more you visit this place, the more it expands. Until one day, you realize that you no longer need to go there because you've begun to live from that place. This is the true power of the lost practice of the monks. It doesn't give you temporary moments of peace. It reconnects you with the peace that already exists within you. The peace that has always been there, waiting for you to stop searching and simply be. Now I'm going to show you exactly how to access this peace in 3 minutes or less, and how to make it a habit that will transform every day of your life. The technique has 3 simple steps. So simple that you'll wonder how something so basic can have such a profound effect. But remember what I told you about the deepest truths seeming impossible at first. The same goes for the most powerful practices. They are simple to learn, but profound in their results. First step, find your inner anchor. It's not breathing. It's not visualization. It's not repeating mantras. It's something much more subtle and much more powerful. It's learning to feel the presence of your own consciousness. It may seem abstract at first, but in fact, it's the most concrete thing that exists. Because your consciousness is the only thing that is always present. When you were a child, it was there. When you become an adult, it remains there. When you are happy, it is there. When you are sad, it is there. But most people live their entire lives without noticing this constant presence. It's like being in a house your whole life and never noticing that there's electric light. You use the light all the time, but you never stop to feel that it's there. Your consciousness is that light, and the first step of the practice is to learn to feel it directly. How? Very simple. For a moment, stop paying attention to what you are thinking, and pay attention to who is thinking. Feel the difference? It's subtle, but powerful. It's like changing the focus of a camera. Instead of focusing on what is being filmed, you focus on the lens itself. You can feel this presence that is always observing. You have found your inner anchor. And once you have this anchor, nothing can completely knock you down. Second step, embrace chaos with curiosity. Here comes the part that goes against everything you've been taught. Instead of trying to stop the thoughts that are bothering you, you'll do the opposite. Fight them to get closer. Sounds crazy? It's exactly this attitude that separates this lost practice from all other techniques. Imagine you're feeling anxious. Instead of fighting it, you'll look at it with genuine curiosity. Interesting. Anxiety has arrived. What exactly is it like? What sensation does it bring to my body? What color is it? What texture? It's as if you were an explorer discovering uncharted territory. Something magical happens when you do this. The anxiety begins to transform, not because you're trying to change it, but because you've changed your relationship with it. Like turning on a light in a dark room. Scary shadows reveal themselves to be just normal furniture. Best part is that it works with any emotion. Anger, sadness, fear, frustration, they all transform when you stop running away and start investigating with curiosity. But there's a third step that closes the cycle of this practice. This is perhaps the most important of all. Third step, dissolve into the vastness. Once you've felt your inner anchor and embraced what was bothering you, the moment of true release arrives. You will expand your consciousness beyond the limits of what you thought you were. It's as if you were a drop of water that suddenly realizes it's part of the entire ocean. How to do this in practice? After observing your thoughts and emotional curiosity, you simply ask, and who is observing all this? Then let your attention rest on that observing presence. Without forcing, without trying, just allowing. Gradually, you'll feel as if you're expanding, as if the boundaries of your individual self evolving into an infinite vastness. It's at this moment that you understand what the master meant to the young monk. You don't need to calm the ocean. You need to realize that you are the ocean. When you realize this, the storm may continue on the surface, but in the depths, there is an absolute peace. Now, let me show you how to apply this in real life. Situation number 1. You're in traffic, late for an important meeting. Anxiety starts to kick in. Instead of torturing yourself, you apply the technique. First step, feel the presence that is observing the anxiety. Who is noticing that I am anxious? Second step, look at the anxiety with curiosity. What does this feeling feel like in my body? Where is it located? How does it move? Third step, expand beyond the anxiety. Who is observing all this? and let your attention rest in that vastness. In 2 or 3 minutes, you are no longer identified with the anxiety. It may still be there, but you are no longer it. Situation number 2, an argument with someone you love. Anger is rising. You apply the practice. Feel the observing presence. Investigate the anger with curiosity. Delve into the vastness. Suddenly, you can respond from peace instead of reacting from anger. The relationship transforms. Communication improves. Love flows better. Situation number 3, insomnia. Your mind keeps spinning thoughts about problems at work. Instead of fighting against the thoughts, you embrace them. Feel who is having these thoughts. Look at them with genuine expand beyond them, and often you fall asleep naturally. Stopped resisting what was happening. Here comes something that is perhaps even more important than the technique itself. True transformation doesn't just happen when you practice. It happens when you begin to live from this understanding. When you realize that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your problems. You are the vast, peaceful consciousness which all this appears and disappears. This perception changes everything. Stop taking the dramas of your mind so seriously. You stop identifying with every emotional fluctuation. You develop what I call sacred distance, an ability to be completely present for life, but without being dragged down by it. It's like being at the cinema, watching a very intense movie. You can be moved by the story, but you never forget that you're in your seat, watching a projection on the screen. And here's the secret that the ancient monks discovered, and that was lost over the centuries. Peace you seek is not a state you need to create. It's your deepest nature that you simply need to stop hiding. All spiritual practices, at their core, point to this simple truth. You already are what you are looking for. We live so identified with our thoughts and emotions that we forget our true nature. It's like the fish that asks, "Where is the water?" while swimming in the ocean. The water is everywhere, but he's so used to it that he can no longer perceive it. So it is with us and peace. It's always here. We are so used to looking outside that we don't realize that it's our own essence. Lost practice of the monks is simply a way to remove the layers of identification that cover this natural peace. Like cleaning the dust off a mirror. The shine was always there. It was just covered. Now, I want to share with you something I discovered practicing this for years. There's a turning point that happens for everyone who dedicates themselves to this practice. In the beginning, you do the technique when you're in crisis, when anxiety hits hard, when anger takes over, when thoughts don't stop. And it works. You feel relief. You find temporary peace. But after a while, something different starts to happen. Realize that you no longer need to wait for the crisis to arrive to access this state. You can enter this peace at any time, by choice. And then comes the deepest discovery of all. You realize that this peace is not something you enter and leave. It's something you are. It's like discovering that you don't need to turn on the light to see, because you are the light itself. And when this perception stabilizes, your life transforms in ways you never imagined possible. Your decisions begin to come from a wiser place. Your relationships become more authentic. Your creativity explodes because you're no longer spending energy fighting against yourself. All that energy you use to resist your thoughts and emotions becomes available to create, love, serve. It's as if you've discovered an infinite wellspring of power within you, a boundless source of strength, residing deep within your being. And the most beautiful part is, the more you connect with this inner peace, the more you're able to offer it to the world. You become a channel of calm in a time of such chaos, a beacon of serenity in a turbulent sea. People feel it in your presence. They can't quite explain it, but there's something different about you. It's as if you carry a field of peace, tranquil aura that influences everyone around you. And perhaps that's exactly what the world needs most right now. People who have found peace within themselves and can radiate that peace to others, not through speeches or sermons, but through their very presence, through the quiet power of being. Because real peace is contagious. It spreads silently, like a fragrant perfume filling the air, a gentle breeze carrying a message of hope. Each person who finds this peace within themselves contributes to the healing of the entire world. It might sound exaggerated, but it's not. Because all the violence, all the anger, all the hatred we see in the world begins within the human mind. Each of us learns to find peace in our own minds. That's it. The entire world transforms, one person at a time, one mind at a time, one heart at a time. And perhaps that's exactly why you've come this far today. Not by chance, but because your soul knows that the time has come for you to rediscover your true nature. The time to stop seeking peace in external places and discover the eternal refuge that already exists within you. The time to reconnect with this lost practice, this ancient wisdom that has the power to transform not only your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. Because when you find real peace, you can't keep it just for yourself. It naturally overflows. It expresses itself. It shares itself. And the world becomes a slightly more peaceful place because of your presence in it. So, the next time you feel lost in the chaos of your mind, remember this conversation. Remember that there's an inner refuge that nothing can touch, a sanctuary of stillness residing within. Remember that you can access this refuge in 3 minutes. A brief pause, a mindful breath, a shift in perspective. And remember, most importantly, that the peace you're seeking isn't hidden somewhere far away. It is you. It always has been you, and it always will be you. No matter what happens on the surface of your life, in the depths of your being, there is an absolute peace that is indestructible. And now you know how to find it. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because the only moment you can find peace is this moment. And this moment is always available, always present, always inviting you home, inviting you to return to your true self, to the stillness within,